All right, there you heard it. The attacks in Dubai are also continuing, and we are joined by Vlada Galan, who is currently in Dubai. Vlada, thank you so much for speaking to One India. And Vlada is from Oracle Advisory Group, a common face, a regular face on One India, plus on several other national and international news media outlets. So, Vlada, you mentioned that you are in Dubai and Burj Khalifa is right outside your window. We hear that it has been evacuated. There have been some evacuation also carried out there. What is the situation in Dubai? What about the airport, first of all? And then we come to the bigger picture.
Well, the situation in Dubai is stable, but I was shocked. There is no real military infrastructure here, any bases of any kind in Dubai. So I was quite shocked as I was driving today and got word that an incoming missile strike was coming into Dubai that was shot over the Dubai. I actually have a tourist in town, a friend who's visiting, who was in the Burj Khalifa during that time, and they did evacuate a large part of that building. But the situation here is stable. It seems like Abu Dhabi has more of the attacks, but it was truly surprising and shocking to see them targeting Dubai, which really doesn't have any bases of any kind, and that was surprising.
Right, Vlada, see, I mean, what we have seen is in a matter of 8 hours now, considering that around 10 o'clock Indian Standard Time, it all started this morning. This is 6:30 p.m. here right now. In 8 hours, it has spiraled out of the geographical boundaries where the actual war happened, the action happened. We knew it, that Iran, without any logistical support to hit the mainland US, would be attacking these areas. Donald Trump, knowing for a fact that this will happen, this recoil effect will happen, do you believe his choice of attack of this kind was correct? Because last time we spoke, we were hoping that some kind of Venezuelan sort of action will be there.
I believe that they executed the attack that they thought would get the job done. And so far, I believe it's five key figures of the Iranian regime that they have managed to take out so far. And they're still working on the main others, including Khomeini himself, of course. Certainly, we would have loved to see a very clean, isolated version of the attack, but you had so many and figures involved that this is the kind of strike that they had to take on. Now, what is important is that this stays isolated. And I know the entire region is really concerned about that and really wants to stay isolated. And so I think this is escalating really heavily when it comes to Israel. I have family now. I've just seen the map. There are dozens and dozens of incoming attacks into Israel, all central Israel. So it's escalating. There's definitely retaliation. We're going to see more retaliation to the Persian Gulf states, whether it's Bahrain, whether it's Abu Dhabi. But I think that this will stay isolated. Worst case scenario, the United States stays active over the next couple weeks or days, and it stays there. I don't see this as a long-term conflict.
Right. Stay with us, Vlada. I would just quickly like to remind our viewers that One India is bringing the continuous coverage of this attack and war that has broken out between US and Iran. And experts might be divided on their opinion, but the latest which is coming is that 40 people have died in Iran at a school complex where the attack happened. The local news outlet IRNA has reported it. Vlada Galan, who joins us as a geopolitical expert, is coming from Oracle Advisory Group. Vlada, you have seen the anticipation and the preparation building up, which was not just deterrence, it was some sort of incoming action that the world was meant to see. In the month of Ramadan, an attack on Iran, projectiles flying all over, above several Islamic nations. Do you think this consideration should have taken into account?
I actually think it was taken into account, and I think that the U.S. government saw this as an opportunity to strike because it felt that they would least expect it at that time. So maybe they saw this as some sort of advantage. I do think those things were taken into consideration. They planned these missions carefully, and often these missions takes months and months to plan. So I think they've been planning this for an extended period of time. This wasn't planned over a week period of time. This mission really difficult to plan because it's really hard to infiltrate the ideologically influenced circle around Khomeini. It's very hard to spies in that circle. It's much easier when it came to Maduro because people in that circle could be infiltrated to pass information. It's very different when they're operating on radical ideology. And so you saw this mission take a longer time to plan because I think they were having a harder time collecting intelligence within that inner circle.
Right, Vlada, some of the experts are divided on the opinion that even during Barack Obama times or his predecessors, Iran had been an irritant for the United States, but things had not come to such a pass. Now, with Donald Trump at the helm of affairs and his record of stopping wars and not igniting new ones, this time around, it is being said that he has done it for his good friend Benjamin Netanyahu. How correct is that?
Donald Trump did and took this definitive action, not for any one country or any one individual. This was much more about the injustice that was happening in Iran when it came to the Iranian people. And I don't think that the U.S. president could sit by idly. Now, of course, we cannot guard the influence of when it comes to nuclear sites, but this mission was about taking out the head of the snake, which is much different than striking nuclear sites. So there is a huge difference here, and for that reason, I believe this mission was something much more than that.
All right, Vlada, very quickly, for Donald Trump, obviously, as you put clearly, that it was all about taking the head of the snake, and Ali Khamenei must be brought to justice. When it comes to his popularity within Iran, yes, there were people who were angry with him, especially with the executions that happened and the crackdown on free media and freedom of expression. But largely it appears that Iran was in support of its leadership, and now we might see students thanking Donald Trump, but after all, they are students. If we take a wholesome view, then it appears that Iran is feeling betrayed and cheated, and now it has been attacked. So the support towards Khamenei has increased all the more. How would this pan out?
Well, I'd be very interested to see the psychological research. I do a lot of survey research in various countries all over the world, and one of the problems that like Iran is that many people are scared to really state their opinion about the government, and they're scared for retaliation and scared for what might happen. If the majority of the country was truly in support of someone like Khomeini, you wouldn't have tens of thousands of people protesting on the streets of the country in such large numbers for such long extended periods of time. So I don't believe that the majority, of the nation, I think it, could be slightly inaccurate to say the majority of the people were in support of the government. I don't believe that. Not to mention how radically different the leadership of Khomeini was in erasing the identity of the Iranian people, whether it's language or religion, and the list goes on. And I think many, adapted, and many others did not and fought back. And we've seen protests that have erupted there over the years of the attacks on women, what they've done to protesters, how gruesome and brutal they are. They're complete disregard for human rights. And so I think that we're going to see a lot more unfold over the coming days and hear from the people of Iran, but nothing over the last couple months and weeks has been stated more than the fact that the Iranian people are seeking freedom, and they've made that known, even despite the fact of facing severe state violence. And so I think we'll see that and their responses in the coming weeks and months.
Right. So, Vlada, NATO bases in Kuwait, then Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and then other places in the Middle East. What message do you think would have gone out to these friendly nations for United States before the attack? Does United States or the Department of Defense or Pentagon inform them? Or is it just a common understanding that in case of attack, the US military assets should be prepared this way. Any information on that?
Yes. So the United States Department of War does send out a warning to the bases. Some of the bases that are seen as high-risk targets are evacuated as needed, and excluding critical personnel. You also have Patriot missile systems that have been activated across bases that have countered some of those offenses. But I'm sure you saw the buildup on a lot of those bases over the last few months leading into this, and especially weeks. We saw that a lot of the different defense systems were activated on the bases, so they were absolutely preparing for there to be significant movement in the region. It became very clear there was going to be a U.S. attack, and those bases were prepared, whether it was bases in the Persian Gulf. I know bases in Jordan and Prince Abdul base in Saudi Arabia, all of those bases were activated, but just in the last 24 hours, an alert did go out to the bases in the Persian Gulf.
Right. Also, Vlada, if we have to zero down upon 3 to 4 key reasons why this attack has happened. We spoke about the cultural emancipation of Iranian people. We also talked about the uranium enrichment and use of nuclear weapons or developing it. But if you were Donald Trump, what must have been on the top of his mind to press that attack button and go for the whole hog?
Well, you have to look at it as a trifecta. And first and foremost, Khomeini has been the spearheading terrorist operations all over the world and funding them. He's a terrorist with and that's a main kind of determination when it comes to something like this, that no longer could the United States sit by idly. Now you add into that trifecta what is going on with uranium enrichment and their desire to have a nuclear weapon. You add in people like Tucker Carlson that have said, well, maybe it's not the worst thing in the world if Iran has a nuclear weapon. Talking to from any U.S. citizen. And then you add in the fact that you have the people that are rising up against, that, leadership, and they're getting slaughtered in the thousands. So you have this trifecta that has hit hard. And you also cannot disregard the fact that one by one, Trump is taking out all the allies of Putin. He's become closer to the Trump has become and executed a very precise military operation in Maduro, and now he's executing a very precise operation that we hope stays precise over the next couple of days. And so you can't dismiss that plays into things, and lowering the influence and controlling and mitigating the influence of Russia is just an bonus in all of this, in my opinion.
Right, Vlada, I have 2 more questions for you. You are in Dubai. And the situation unfolding in Dubai as of now, be it the airport, which is the world's busiest airport, which I believe has been closed as of now, and so are the airspaces also. I have 2 questions for you. The first one is, I have the comments from Donald Trump, which he made very clearly. And this time around, Donald Trump chose, I think, to go with the teleprompter. He did not want his words to be taken otherwise. He was very clear, very to the point. He said, lay down your weapons or face certain death. In case the weapons are laid down, then there will be immunity. He also says he will destroy Iran's entire missile industry and missile infrastructure will be obliterated, and the Navy, and no nuclear weapons could be ever made by Iran. He also mentioned this mission serves the future, not present. I think Donald Trump was, this time around, the wholesome speech, well-rounded speech, where he tried to cover all the bases so that he shouldn't be seen as an aggressor. And if people say that Donald Trump had a list of wars that he had stopped, do you think he also has a list of wars that he wants to begin, or maybe aggression, starting with Venezuela? Mexico was in shivers, then it fell in line, and now Iran.
Well, we can't look at Venezuela as a war. It was a targeted operation, and the country's been stable since. There's no been further instability, and nothing further has taken place. But it is to be seen what happens next in Venezuela. If we look at Iran, of course, right now it looks like it's unfolding into some sort of conflict. I think you're going to have something that's going to be very targeted, kind of like the very short strike that was executed previously, and that is again as well. But I think at times you have to have an intervention to prevent something much worse in the. And I think Trump's team and his team of advisors and cabinet were wise enough to see that in the future the situation could spiral out of control, just not in the region but globally. You cannot allow sponsors of terror to continue ruling and continue holding up Hamas and Hezbollah and others. And if you're going further conflicts, this is a necessary fight that you have to fight and a necessary conflict that you have to get involved in. The question is, can it be isolated, or is it going to, unravel into a full-on conflict? I don't see that happening. I think Trump is wise enough to understand that he can't afford that politically right now. He does have elections in midterms in November. So he has to keep that in mind. And I'm sure he certainly is. So I think that is to be seen. Venezuela remains stable, not a war. Iran, let's see if he's able to execute that mission in a short period of time and end it there without continued U.S. presence on the ground.
Right. Vlada, on the screen, we are putting out visuals of this particular piece of arsenal, which is made in Germany. And Iran has used it against UAE. UAE government, Ministry of Defense, has issued these visuals saying that they are made in Germany, which means a tacit support from Europe. My question to you would be, when it comes to allies, while Donald Trump's allies, US allies, are facing the flak, Iran too has allies and the cards up their sleeve, starting with China, Russia, and now we see, if this is any sign to go by, Germany. Do you think that Iran too would be dividing the Europe and the US just like it did in case of Ukraine?
Well, I would be very surprised if Germany is directly supplying Iran with weapons. That would be, the first that I certainly hear of it.
Yeah.
However, any schemes where those weapons could have been illegally sold from a third-party country and made their way illegally to Iran. And if that's the case, that's certainly unfortunate. And I think that the UAE is very unhappy with this attack. Their main priority is protecting their people and their country and their infrastructure. And the last thing they want is to fall victim in the middle of this fight. But that certainly is not to say that, Germany is, a friend or a partner of any kind of Iran. The West has certainly turned its back to Iran and the leadership that is there, not to the people. So I, would find it hard to believe that this is, directly supplied by Germany to Iran.
Right. Okay. One final question, Vlada. The world would obviously remember February 28th as one of, maybe for some it is red letter day, for some it will be a black day. But if this be the world order that we are going to witness in the days and years to come, then do you think that someday or the other there would be someone independently or collectively challenging the supremacy of United States? Because today's Donald Trump was a different man. He is out on a mission, and the way he lined up and mentioned his objectives, it was as if come what may, my way or the highway.
The world needs leadership, and America for a very long time lost their way in the vision of Ronald Reagan and that definitive stance that people like Reagan and Margaret Thatcher took for the world. And what you saw today was a very definitive action that Donald Trump took back that kind of American firmness, and we mean business and we will bring order. And a lot of the world counts on that. Leadership has been, and I think it set very clear goals and very clear initiatives of what he wanted to accomplish. And as I'm sitting right here in the UAE, I think many of the nations in the end will be incredibly grateful for this action. This is a problem that they had in their backyard that someone needed to fix. And Donald Trump stepped up to take on that fight. But the question is, how contained will it be and how cleanly will it be done? But personally, I have an American and Ukrainian passport, and as an American citizen, I'm incredibly proud of these actions. I think we will look back on it, and it'll be a big part of Donald Trump's legacy in a positive manner.
Vlada, thank you so much, as always, for speaking to One India. We wish you all the very best, and we hope and we pray that you are safe and sound in Dubai and in your subsequent travels there. Vlada Galan there from the Oracle Advisory Group, a geopolitical analyst, weighing in the attacks that have happened, that have started this morning, wherein United States and Israeli joint forces battered Tehran and several other parts of the country. And in retaliation, Iran too has targeted the friendly nations where the US bases are with missiles and barrage of incoming attacks. So thank you so much, Vlada.
Subscribe to One India and never miss an update. Download the One India app now.